Hey guys, I'm frozen.
Oh my god.
I was trying to tell you not to hit start until I fix this. What is going on, LBHT crew? Yes, we stumbled out the gate. All right, but we're here. What's up, B?
I mean, I don't know. Like, you know what doesn't freeze? These standalone webcams that we be using. I don't know.
Yes, they do.
I don't know what happens if you try to plug I don't know, Android cell phone into a computer.
So you're going to tell me that your cameras never froze?
No, y'all have frozen.
Oh, okay.
Your weak internet can't handle.
Now we see what's going on.
All of the pixels I'm sending your way.
Sure,
but the Android cell phone freezes on the regular.
Right. Sure. It is Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Hope your week is going well, but if not, hopefully it gets better starting right now. We are streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. So wherever you're watching us, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. If you're listening to the audio podcast, it is Thursday. Happy Thursday. Hope your lunch is going well. Make sure you leave us a 5-star review on that and share it with your friends and loved ones because we are trying to grow out here. Who we got in the chat?
Just like animate Microphone Man's mouth, and then we don't ever have to be on camera making a faceless channel.
No. They like seeing our face, B. They like seeing our face. Okay.
What's up, Osmond?
What's going on, Osmond? Thanks for coming through. Appreciate you. Who else is in here? Just Al was first. Oh, you're going to take Just Al down?
I was saying hi to Osmond.
Yeah, okay, you were kind of slow with it, but that's cool. What's going on, Osmond? Okay, you handle the comments. I'm gonna fix this camera real quick. It'll take 2 seconds.
Wow.
Just Aloe says, hello, LBHT fan. Welcome to the Best Ravens podcast. I hope everyone is doing well. Brodny was right. I have to admit it. Jalen Hurts is... No, we're not going to read that.
Jalen Hurts is a fraud. Thank you very much.
No, sir.
Bazel says first, even though he was in fact second, and then there proceeded to be an argument about that. We're not going to bring any of those comments. We'll skip past those. We got IB saying in the house. What's going on, IB saying?
What's good?
The 10-point spread against the Seals was disrespectful. I guess they were right. That whole game was disrespectful. Yeah, true.
And look who's back.
Wow, congratulations.
Right.
Only 5 minutes late for the show. Urban Closer, boom. Roasted. I don't know who he's talking to, but that's all right. Somebody got roasted in the chat. What's going on, Jeremy?
Salute to Jeremy. Thanks for coming through. Who else is in here?
Got DDSQ. You got Yolanda from Ravens Talk with Yolanda. How you doing, Yolanda?
What's going on, everybody? DDSQ, salute. Yolanda, salute. I be saying what's good. Urban, yes. Bazel, pay the bills. I think we got everybody. Appreciate y'all coming through. Yes. We are going to be talking about. We're going to talk about that Steelers game, okay? So, yes, we did the live stream after the game. Yes, we got the Bills coming up. We'll get to the Bills. I want to spend a couple more minutes just enjoying that win before we move on to the Bills, which I think is going to look similar, right, in our favor. I think, Matt Milano out there talking trash. We're going to talk about Matt Milano. He's just trying to psych himself up, for the game. It is what it is, but I feel very confident in this team. And we'll be discussing that. We're going to be discussing a little bit of Cowboys, B. Yeah. In primetime, Deion may be making a return to the Cowboys. Yeah. All right. So
Urban was talking about the Android.
Oh, not. You're not one of those people, are you? Yeah, you're one of those
Urban.
Apple elitists.
Appreciate
right?
you, Urban.
You guys are Apple elitists until you have to pay for something, right?
Because we got the money. I'm about to be getting off this Windows trash pretty soon too.
Yeah. You need a charging block. That's $50.
Mm-hmm.
You need a cable for it. That's another $25.
I can't hear broke problems.
Right.
But let's get into
do you need that fixed? That's going to cost you another $40 since you can't hear anything.
Oh, our oldest member. I have an Android. That's just Aloe for you. No offense.
Our wisest member.
I didn't say he wasn't wise. I just said he old. Jeremy, I am also an Apple elitist. That's what I'm talking about. This is now
I know I didn't. I know I didn't like you. I know I didn't like you, Jeremy.
We love you, Jeremy. Don't listen to Jose.
We love you, Jeremy.
He upset because his phone froze, and he ain't do nothing about it.
The phone didn't freeze. The software froze. Well, we're gonna find out here pretty soon how great Apple is. Okay, in our new setup, we're gonna find out.
We already know. You know who uses Apple? That setup that we're gonna be switching to, the hottest Ravens podcast going, Ravens Talk with Yolanda and the Rogue Pod. I understand that's one show, but they still try to act like it's two separate ones. So I have to say both titles.
Look at Ivy saying he's like, listen, broke boys, I have both of them. I'm chilling in Switzerland, drinking my hot cocoa. All right, I don't understand your poor people's problems.
and there's Yolanda right on time. Yes, love Apple. That's right.
Okay, yeah, all right. Look, there's nothing wrong with Apple, unless until there's nothing wrong with Apple until there's something wrong with it. That's what I always say. Okay, it works fine, but when it doesn't work, you have a world of trouble. All right. Ayo says people buying iPhones. We all make mistakes.
We're certainly not bringing up pay the bills with his South Park references. Nonsense. Nonsense. I don't watch that garbage. Oh, what's up, Aaron Rob? We got, hey fellas, I'm another Apple user. What's going on?
Irvin says the apple don't fall far from the tree.
Hey, he an Apple user,
Yes, Pete says Android all day in Baltimore. We have started a little civil war here.
Baltimore broke, man.
Baltimore about to be some winners. I bet you Steelers fans use iPhones.
I bet you them Steelers fans is on them flip phones still.
They're on the corded phones.
Yeah. What is a cell phone? What are you all talking about?
Hendo was good. Shout out to Hendo in the Rogue Pod. Appreciate you coming through. All right. We have a black. What's up, tough puppy?
That's right.
What's going on?
Clears. That's right.
Hey, listen, it is what it is. Tay got it. Tay got it.
Apple gang.
Okay.
That's right.
All right. Shout out to y'all. Like I said, when it works, it works. When it don't work,
always works.
Sure.
And
it works until it's time for you to buy another one.
Oh, it still works.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Yes,
everything shuts down. 410 Easy was good.
What are you talking about? Fellas? Hendo was rolling with an Apple 8 Plus until 4 months ago,
and you can never get a hold of them.
Yes, you could.
Right? It took 3 hours to respond. You'd be like, "Yo, what took you so long?" He's like, "I just got your message."
He'd be screening them Android calls though.
Like, yeah, one of our other friends, he has an old iPhone as well, and every time he sends a text, it comes as a subject line message, like he's sending an email. You know exactly what I'm talking about too.
He probably is sending an email. That's not an Apple or Android issue. That's a user issue.
All right. We're going to get this show on the road, man. We got AD from Press Start 410 in the house. All right. We're going to be talking some Ravens versus Bills. We're going to be talking some Cowboys. And that's pretty much it. Okay. And then we're going to go to the overtime show. All right. But first, we like to start every show with a Black History fact. And B and Okole have a Black History fact for you.
Welcome to this week's Black History Fact. Thurgood Marshall was born on July 2nd, 1908, in Baltimore, Maryland. He grew up to become a key figure in the fight for civil rights and made history as the first African American to serve on the U.S. Supreme Court. Marshall's parents were William Canfield Marshall, a railroad porter and steward, and Norma Williams Marshall, an elementary school teacher. He excelled in school and graduated from Lincoln University in Pennsylvania in 1930. He then attended Howard University Law School, graduating first in his class in 1933. His fight against racial segregation marked Marshall's early career. After being denied admission to the University of Maryland Law School because of his race, he attended Howard University Law School. He started his legal career in Baltimore, winning several cases challenging segregation. In 1939, Marshall became the director of the NAACP's Legal Defense and Educational Fund. In this role, he argued and won numerous cases before the Supreme Court, including the landmark case, Brown v. Board of Education, 1954, which declared segregation in public schools unconstitutional. In 1965, President Lyndon B. Johnson appointed Marshall as the Solicitor General, making him the first African American to hold this position. 2 years later, in 1967, Marshall was appointed to the U.S. Supreme Court, becoming its first African American justice. He served on the court until 1991 and was known for his staunch support of individual rights and liberties. Legacy Marshall's work had a profound impact on advancing civil rights and dismantling institutionalized racism in the United States. His legacy continues to inspire lawyers and civil rights activists today.
Shout out to Okole with the Black History Fact, and that is Brown versus Board of Education. He said, I'm not sure where he said
we're
that.
Gonna give Okole a vacation, man. He's struggling.
What's going on, Nady?
What's up, Adrian?
Yo, what's good?
Hey, I just want to point out. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, this is Hendo responding 5 minutes later to a joke that I made about Apple users. Okay, that's all I want to say. That's all I want to say right there. Justin Lewis, what's going on? Thanks for coming through. Appreciate you. We got King Fat Thunderberg in the house. Okay, so good evening, family. Good evening. Yeah, Thunderberg. Okay, all right. Team Raimi in the house says props. Hey, props to you, Team Raimi. Thanks for coming through. Appreciate y'all. Seeing some new faces in here. Coach in the house. What's going on? Says that man need a break.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Yes. All right. So last week, B accurately predicted a complete beatdown of the Steelers, and that game, it got a little interesting in the third quarter, but that was about it. I haven't seen the Steelers manhandled like that in a while, right? In a while, because they're always a tough team. They play tough all year. Even the games that they lost this year, right? They kind of got blown out by the Chiefs, but they didn't get beat up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There were some unfortunate turnovers that kind of opened the game up. Yes, they went on a 4-game losing streak. But they didn't look beat up. This last game, they looked physically worn down, and that was at halftime.
I mean, Minka and that other dude caught them stiff arms, and the rest of the team said, "Not me."
Hey, Tracy, what's going on?
What's up, Tracy?
I love when Tracy comes through. I appreciate you coming through, Tracy. But those are my favorite wins from Baltimore. Going back all the way back to our Super Bowl run, right? The game that everybody remembers, rightfully so, is when we beat the Broncos, right? That throw up pass by that Hail Mary pass by Joe Flacco that Jacoby Jones brought down and take us to overtime, and we won it in overtime. Great moment. But my favorite game was the next game in the AFC Championship against the Patriots, where we just wore them out, right? We knocked out what's his name out the game?
Stephen Ridley. It was Bernard Pollard. Destroyed
Pollard.
him.
And even
that
before
dude was
that,
scared to play football the rest of his life.
I don't blame him.
I don't either.
Seriously, I don't blame him.
That was a vicious hit.
Even before that, the Ravens defenders were putting helmets on anybody that touched the ball, right? So they're already getting beat up. And then when they're not really out the game, they didn't even want to catch the ball anymore.
Yeah.
Like they were so just dejected, you know. And I love when we played that kind of football to where the team, the opponent doesn't even want to play anymore. They just want the clock to run out so they can get out of there. I love that. And I want to see that this Sunday. Okay. So, you know, the Bills, you know, they already started their trash talking. I get it. You know, like you got to have confidence in yourself. But Matt Milano, I saw a tweet. I didn't, you know, I guess he was on some radio show, talking about Lamar downplaying his year. Yeah, he had an all right year. You know, he all right. He not my QB. Okay, he's not Josh Allen, nothing like that. But he all right. But you know, all we're gonna do is just we're gonna make him beat us with his arm.
Yeah,
make us beat us with his arm.
That was original, right? Definitely.
Yeah. Great game plan. Right now, one, do y'all believe that's what he thinks, or do you think that's him trying to get a little gamesmanship going?
The thing is, like, if I don't see how he could believe it, right? Like, you know, I mean, he's a professional. He watches the film. He knows what he's looking at. How could you believe that? But on the other hand, why would you say that and dare the best passer in the league to pass the ball on you? Like, because as is, we all kind of want them to just go out there and run it. If they start throwing the ball, they're going to beat you worse than they did last time.
Yeah. What do you think, Adrian?
I feel like it's no way he could possibly believe that. We're talking about the fourth highest passer rating in the history of NFL. The first guy since Aaron Rodgers to throw over 40 touchdowns with less than 5 interceptions. All of the numbers are there. He's not playing against USFL guys. He's not in the SEC or the ACC. This is the NFL. This is the best football league in the entire world. And he's doing this against grown men who have mortgages, all pros, future Hall of Famers, some of the best players in the world. Matt Milano, you might be trying to hype yourself up, but you don't want to put bulletin board material on that Ravens wall. You don't want to do that to guys who have been doubted their entire lives. A guy who was told that he should be a running back or a wide receiver at the NFL level, and every step of the way has proved every doubter wrong, has proved everybody wrong, and all you guys are doing is giving him more motivation. The only motivation he needs is that Lombardi trophy. But talking before the game is the worst thing you can do, and you're a 240-pound linebacker soaking wet. He's going to run through you. Derrick Henry's going to run through you. And you guys are going to have no answer for anything that the Ravens are going to do. So talk that stuff all y'all want. It's not going to end well for y'all.
No, I hear you. I think it's a little gamesmanship, right? I think he individually, he personally, and we got a donation. Oh, shout out to what does that say?
It said Apple Owl.
Apple Owl, or is it Apple Owl or Apple AI? I didn't.
Or maybe Apple AI. I don't know.
I think it's Apple AI. B will pull it up. I think that was an Apple AI. Don't you guys got that new intelligence now? The new AI.
Yeah, Apple Intelligence.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't expect you to know about it. I'm shocked.
Yes, Chat GPT. Yes. Did you read it?
I'm pulling it up, man.
Oh! I thought with your new Apple.
This is a Windows computer, my friend.
Oh! It hasn't come yet. I see.
No. It's a Windows computer. I'm trying to get signed in to Streamlabs here.
No, I'm saying like you had I thought you ordered a new Mac.
Oh yeah. I haven't set it up yet. I told you.
Oh, okay. All right. While B look for that.
He says, "Slow down your speech, Jose. Your Android is showing." Appreciate it, Apple AI.
Oh, you mean your Apple can't process it fast enough? Hey, thanks for the donation. I appreciate that. But no, I think for him personally, he wants Lamar to pass it more than get the ball to Derrick Henry. Between the two of them, Lamar and Derrick Henry. And we got another donation. That's what I'm talking about. 86 Ghosts for $32. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. I appreciate it.
B will pull up in a second. But let me finish my point real quick, B. But for him, he watched the Steelers game. He doesn't want that to happen to them, and it will happen to them. What can he do? What can the Bills do to stop that? Hold on a second, B. Hold on a second. What can the Bills do to stop that? There's no TJ Watt on the team. There's no Cam Hayward on that team. They got good players, but no players like that, right? If the Ravens start doing the read option, that's extremely hard to stop. And they get going early on, you're cooked, right? You're worn down. You don't have any legs in the second half. Like, you're cooked. He preferred that they try to start passing the ball early on. Because, yes, Lamar could carve him up in the secondary, but that won't be on him, right?
Yeah.
He won't get posterized. You know, it's more on the DBs than it is on him. So that's kind of a selfish look on his part where, hey, why don't you just throw the ball, right? Because I don't have to. I can hand this ball off to Derrick Henry and he'll run through you. And then I'll run around you.
So as one of the quotes in the chat here says, I'm looking for it now, Cole Kingdom, I believe. It was a made up quote. Cool Kingston, I'm sorry. So I don't think those are real quotes. I've seen a few of those tweets referring to different players, but they aren't sourced. But
gotcha.
We're going to go ahead and finish the segment as if it is real.
Yeah, it's real.
But first, I want to say thank you to Bazel. He said, dropping a trade deuce for juvenile cousin joining the stream. # choose violence. There were, I saw the quote. There were a couple of the NFL insights that kind of dealt specifically with what the quote was talking about. I want to pull them up here. Lamar Jackson. This is the first time they played Buffalo in Week 4. It says Lamar Jackson threw for, this one is just for the regular season, threw for 2,989 yards, 23 touchdowns, and just 3 interceptions against zone coverage this season, recording league highs in passer rating, 119.1, and yards per attempt, 9.5. Jackson's passer rating against zone is the highest by any quarterback since at least 2018. For the matchup, the Bills played zone coverage on 76.3% of dropbacks this season, the 8th highest rate in the NFL, allowing 17 touchdowns and intercepting 12 passes, which was tied for 7th most. Opposing quarterbacks recorded a 93.8 passer rating against the Bills' zone coverage, 10th highest in the NFL. So you got a defense that plays a lot of zone and a quarterback who is best against the zone since 6 years, in the last 6 years, 7 years. That doesn't spell success for Buffalo. Then we also have this stat here. Lamar Jackson completed 12 of 13 passes for 144 yards and 2 touchdowns when targeting open receivers, 3+ yards of separation in Week 4, with all 18 of his total attempts in Week 4 going to receivers with at least 1 yard of separation. So he had no tight window throws in Week 4 against Buffalo. Jackson targeted open receivers at the highest rate in the NFL this season, 58.4%, despite also averaging 9.0 air yards per attempt, which is the 4th most in the league. So again, you have a team who's playing a lot of zone, and Lamar has been just carving up the zone this season. And then you have Lamar, who is able and willing to stand in the pocket and wait for his guys to get open before throwing the ball, because he also has the longest time to throw in the NFL this season, and had 18 pass attempts, and there wasn't a Bills defender in sight in Week 4 on any one of those pass attempts. So going into this game, I don't think it would be a wise choice for Buffalo to try to make Lamar throw. The problem is, for Buffalo, it's also not a great choice to ask them to run the ball with Derrick Henry, as they found out what the first or second play of their Week 4 matchup. So it's going to be tough. I know that the Bills fans say, hey, they had injuries. Matt Milano, I believe, was out in that game. Baltimore also had injuries. They're a different team now than they were then. That was the worst pass defense in the NFL when they played Buffalo in Week 4. And the would-be MVP was not able to take advantage of him. So I'm not sure what's going to change from that standpoint of Josh Allen being able to throw on that defense that is playing much, much better than the last time we saw them. And I'm not sure what's going to change in favor of Buffalo's defense when you're accustomed to playing zone and Lamar is a zone killer. And then you're not really getting to Lamar, right? And he's able to kind of hang back, wait for the receivers to get open, and just pass into open players all game long. I mean, the only thing that's pointing in their advantage is Zay Flowers not being there. And Zay Flowers isn't a good enough player to flip that entire matchup.
Well, this is how I feel about the matchup. Buffalo's best chance is on the offensive side of the football. It's not on the defense. They have no shot against Derrick Henry, no shot against Lamar. They can't stop the receivers. They can't guard anybody. It's an average defense. I hate to be so harsh, but I've been talking to a lot of Buffalo fans. I didn't know they had fans until this last week.
They got fans, man.
A matter of fact, the last 3 weeks is when I found out they had fans.
They got fans, man. Shout out to Bills Mafia. They got fans.
All right, well, they coming up.
A generally great fan base.
All right,
not when they think Josh Allen is being excluded.
Well, they've been coming out the woodworks recently. I'm hearing Josh is a better player than Lamar. I'm hearing that he's going to prove that. Of course, the MVP won't be litigated in this game, but we're not worried about the MVP award right now. We're worried about going into Orchard Park and kicking the doors down and beating the hell out of them, and that's what we're going to see. Their only chance is to possess that football, win the rushing game. So they're going to have to hold the ball, keep Lamar off the field, keep Derrick Henry from getting into a rhythm, keep our offense at bay. And it's going to have to be a low possession type of game where they go on long extended drives. I'm talking about 8-minute drives, 10-minute drives. They end in points, and preferably 7 points instead of 3. I think that's the only chance they really have is to win a game like that, because if it becomes a shootout, they claim to have the weapons to be able to play with us. I don't think that they do. And we're talking about 9-degree temperature, one of the coldest days of the year, if not the coldest day of the year. It favors the team with the stronger rushing attack. And I don't think anybody believes that Buffalo can run the ball better than we can.
Yeah. No, I mean that's exactly it. I agree with you. I think offense for them is the key. They can put up points, like we said, man. Like Josh Allen is a great quarterback, and James Cook is an excellent running back. So I think for them, a little re-option on their side would do them well, right? Because James Cook only needs a small crease to break for a big run. Okay, he is a playmaker. So take advantage of that, and Josh Allen can run as well. Take advantage of that, and they can have some success. But then again, they tried that the first game, didn't work that well. But they gotta try something out there. I think the Ravens right now, you gotta kind of throw away the 31st ranked defense, in the regular season, because if you're just looking at that doesn't tell the whole story, right? The last 7 weeks of the season, they were number one. They're number one defense across the board, I think. But yeah, I mean, it's playoff football now. I think this defense is just, the main players that we're just spending all the money on, right? Roquan, Madubuike, Marlowe, you got Kyle Hamilton, like those guys. This is the moment that they're stepping up, right? And that's going to be tough for that Bills offense. And then of course on the defensive side, man, like I said, I don't think they got players. Greg Rousseau is a baller. What's the D tackle's name? I keep forgetting his name. I forget, but they got yeah. They got some guys. Milano's a good player. They got some players, but all those guys. I mean, if Lamar decides he's going to run the ball 10 times this game, you don't have anything to stop that. You're not like Matt Milano is a fast linebacker. He can spot out the quarterback really well, but you can't keep your eyes on Lamar and give Derrick Henry room to run. right? That's the difference between this offense this year and the offenses in the past. You can forget about Gus Edwards. Well, I would say J.K. Dobbins, but J.K. Dobbins was never there towards the end. But you forget about Gus Edwards and whoever else, right, and focus on Lamar. But you can't take your eyes off of Derrick Henry. You know?
And so, I guess they're really, 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 really leaning.
Ed Oliver, yes. Thank you, Killer.
Yes.
Really, really leaning on the idea that Matt Milano and a couple of these other guys are going to make a huge difference, because it wasn't just wasn't just Derrick Henry, right? Like, you look at the stats, he had 23 carries for 112 yards. And then he also had an 87-yard touchdown on top of that, right? Like, so he killed him even when you take out that 87-yard run. But it wasn't just him, because Justice Hill also had 78 yards receiving and a touchdown. They could not stop either of Baltimore's running backs, right? And now, if you also add in, and I'm going to keep saying until they do it, if you also add in Keaton Mitchell to the offense, what are you going to do as a defender in Buffalo? You kind of lean towards the thunder and lightning thing, but Derrick Henry's not even thunder. He's faster than all those other running backs too. Like, it's all lightning. It's all lightning, and that's just coming at you like a sledgehammer, and it's ridiculous.
Well, it's going to sound arrogant from me. I think the Ravens could win this game without throwing a single pass. I think they could run 60 times to win this football game without throwing a screen, throwing a slant, a goal, whatever. They don't have to throw any passes in this game. Buffalo is too small. I don't care who they put out there. They don't have the size. When you think about our old line, and then you add Ricard into the mix, you add Kolar into the mix, you add Likely, you add Andrews, and then Derrick Henry running behind all of that girth of humanity, what can they do? They're not going to get bigger in the next 3 or 4 days.
Honestly, I think this formula will work the rest of the way through, right? I think this is what we've been building this team up for forever, for 7 years, to be this type of run team where, no, you really can't stop us. Like, I know we're going to run, but what are you going to do about it, right? You'll stop us on that first down, right? Then we're going to run it again. You'll stop us then. And if we pick up the first down, then we're going to just run it again. And how many times are you going to stop it before you start putting your hands on your hips, right? How many times are you going to stop it before you start going, take me out, right? That's why Matt Milano was saying, why don't you pass it, bro? Why don't you pass it? That keeps him a little bit more fresh. And if Lamar does Lamar things that cars him up, he'd be like, oh, well, it wasn't on me.
Right? But that's the thing, though. You're absolutely right, both. They have 3 guys. Derrick Henry is averaging 5.9 yards a carry. Lamar Jackson's averaging 6.6 yards a carry. Justice Hill is averaging 4.9 yards a carry. Now, all 3 of those guys, if you hand it to them 3 times, it's more than 10 yards. For all of them, right? Like, there's not any of those guys who you can be like, hey, if we can force them to use so-and-so more, it's all of them are able to run. All of them are able to move the sticks. And we say it every single week. The way that you have to beat Baltimore is you have to get the ball and you have to score immediately. And you have to take them out of their game. If you let Baltimore start running and you let them get kind of revved up, you get that O-line going, get Derrick Henry going, get Justice Hill going, you're not going to be able to stop them. MVP Josh Allen has to come out and he has to put up more than 10 points. That's all there is to it. You're not going to win this game without scoring a lot ahead of Baltimore. You're just not going to be able to stop their offense.
Yeah. Movie Madness, what are you asking? Who does everyone think is going to win? This one is a big one. Mahomes at number 1. This will make a 2-1 stone for the moment. I'm not sure what you're asking. You're asking who's going to win between the winner of this game and the Chiefs game? Look, the Chiefs. I've been saying for 3 years, the road to Super Bowl goes through Kansas City, right? That's the ultimate test. I think we beat the Bills, and I think we finally get past the Chiefs, but the Chiefs are the team to beat. Make no mistake about it. All right. Ravens will win this game as long as they keep running the ball, not making any turnovers and less penalties. Well, yes, that's the main thing. Turnovers and penalties. I think we'll be fine. In terms of like turnovers, we won't turn the ball over. The penalties is that's the big thing.
Yeah, that's what kills Baltimore.
Yeah, because when we get behind the sticks, it's harder to run 3 plays in a row, 5 yards, 6 yards, and then another 4. Because if you get that holding on first down, it's 1st and 20, so you got to put up 20 yards in 3 plays. So that's what teams are banking on, is the Ravens being undisciplined and having to go 3 and out or having to punt after a short series, because then you're able to get your offense on the field and you're able to give Josh Allen more cracks at the end zone. If the Bills are able to score in the high 20s, low 30s, I think they have a chance in this game. But if they score 17 points, they're not going to win. If they score, 20 points, they're probably not going to win. So they're going to need more possessions. And like you said, I think it was Justin, you need to force turnovers. And a lot of that would be the Ravens shooting themselves in the foot. They have done this before in these moments. So what I'm interested to see is, I don't think the Ravens have lost a game this entire season that they didn't beat themselves in. Every loss was a self-inflicted loss. Turnovers at the wrong time. Certain games not being able to cash in and get that big interception that hit them right in the hands. Just not playing to their identity and forgetting to give Derrick Henry 20 plus touches, which we know is equivalent to a win pretty much on a season. So I can't see Buffalo beating us. I can see us losing because we beat ourselves. And the same thing about Kansas City the next week. Yeah, they could beat us, but that team's not going to beat themselves. We have the potential to beat ourselves. So it's very important that we don't shoot ourselves in the foot, play disciplined football, and ball security has to be paramount, have to hold on to the football, because in these games, one turnover could be the difference. Like we saw in 2020, 3-3 game at the half, Lamar's driving down to potentially take a lead on Buffalo. And, he throws, I think, a 99-yard pick six, and then he gets hurt on the next possession, and we lose that game. Obviously, we're not the same team that we were 5 years ago. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that we have historically shot ourselves in the foot in these big games, and that's a recipe for disaster if it happens. I just don't see it happening. I think we finally get over the hump this year.
Byron Jackson wants to know, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are y'all that we won't beat ourselves? I'm kind of tired of using that excuse after every loss. I'm confident, right? And I think this speaks to how much Lamar has grown as a leader, and how much he's taken over that team, right? I think he's out there. I think they're listening to his voice more than Harbaugh's voice at this point, right? Harbaugh is there as an advisor, if you will, and rightfully so. You should just trust Lamar. He knows what he's doing out there, right? Calling the plays, and Lamar knows what he sees out there, and he's going to make the plays that he feels he needs to make to win the games, and that's the right formula. You trust your MVP, soon to be 3-time MVP quarterback, to go out there and make the right plays, right? Don't get in his way. Don't call a bad timeout. Don't throw a bad challenge. Don't punt the ball when you should go for it on 4th and inches. Right? Little things like that. I think Harbaugh will keep that to a minimum. Now, the following week against the Chiefs, that will get me a little bit more nervous. But for now, just focus on the Bills.
Who says you're playing the Chiefs?
Oh, well, yeah. I guess Houston has a chance.
Houston has a great secondary.
They do.
They make things very, very, very difficult for everyone they play except Lad McConkey.
Including the Chiefs, because they play the Chiefs tough. Yeah.
So you never know. I mean, CJ Stroud, he's the second best quarterback out of that class. Like he can make some things happen. Right? They got Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon is running very, very well. Joe Mixon is running strong, much better than we've seen recently from him in Cincinnati. I think D'Amico Ryans is a great coach. I mean, he can't say he's going to win, but I'm just saying, like, don't be calling it so soon.
Yeah, I don't see the upset there, but definitely, I mean, look, they play tough, man.
Yeah,
Houston is a tough team. Imagine what kind of outlook they would have if Stephon Diggs didn't get hurt.
Oh man, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love to see it. 4-10. I think Philly gonna lose too because Jalen Hurts a fraud.
I don't think so.
But to the Rams, I
They're
don't.
losing to the Rams. They're absolutely
think
losing to the Rams.
All right, we'll see. I don't think so.
I told you Minnesota was going down to the Rams, and I'm telling you Philly's going down too.
Yeah.
I think it's Philly and Baltimore in the Super Bowl, and we get our revenge.
Yeah, I agree. Philly and Baltimore, but the Rams definitely could give LA something to cheer about. And I saw in 2001 when the Patriots won that Super Bowl, it kind of was coincidental because of 9/11. Same thing with New Orleans when they won that Super Bowl after Katrina. So we've seen this before. Maybe LA does get there because the people of
They're
LA
inspired.
Yeah, the inspiration. The wildfires have ravaged the entire city and most of the state. They could use that pick me up.
But hold on, the 9/11 thing, because they're the Patriots, you think, oh, well, they're inspired by it, but that happened in New York. Where was New York? Right?
It was New York, but
where were those teams?
Those teams are terrible. They can't make they couldn't make it believable for the Jets.
I'm sorry, they couldn't make it believable with the Patriots either. That's why nobody ever heard of the Tuck rule until Tom Brady was about to lose to Charles Woodson. But
Big Reg, you don't believe this. He says, "Watch they come out the NFC." You don't believe that.
I was about to say, I think so too.
Really?
That is my pick because, like I said, I think Phillies are frauds. Right, I honestly think they're going to lose to the Rams. The Detroit Lions I would pick them to come out of the NFC, but they're too banged up. They're too hurt. A healthy Detroit team is the best team in the NFC by far. But with Jaden Daniels playing the way he is, them not having anybody on defense, I mean, they're down to fourth stringers. I think that they get by him, and then, I'm not picking Matt Stafford in a conference championship game against the most clutch young quarterback in the NFL.
Wow. I think that's the best game. I think that's the best game of the weekend slate. Personally, I think that we run through Buffalo. I feel more confident in this win than I did about Pittsburgh. I thought Pittsburgh was going to be close because we know them so well. Thomas had our number, and they have the guys on defense to make things tough. They just didn't show up when it mattered. But Detroit in Washington, I think that's going to be a shootout, especially since there's no weather in Ford Field. It's going to be 75 degrees because it's an indoor stadium. And you got Jaden Daniels, that wide receiver core, Terry McLaurin looks really good. De'Ami Brown has motivation. De'Ami Brown has a lot of motivation because Amon-Ra St. Brown has been running his mouth about the fact that he got drafted over him. And I think that he might want to prove, hey, Amon-Ra, I'm as good as you or better.
No, he's not, but
he ain't. But
I'm telling y'all right now, DC and Baltimore Super Bowl would start a whole new generation of beefs in this area.
Listen,
okay,
all right now, it's gonna be Baltimore and Washington, and Baltimore is gonna run through them like they did the Giants.
That would start a whole new generation of DC versus Baltimore in this area. All right,
like the white kid that beat those two kids up down Fells Point. The two DC fans,
not related to us, by the way. Okay, shout out to Fells Point Mafia. That was not that he was not tied to our organization. Okay, as some would have you believe. All right. A little bit more Ravens, another Ravens topic to discuss real quick, and then I want to get into some Cowboys talk, and then we'll do submitted questions, we'll do our picks, and then we're going to go to the overtime show. You can catch our overtime show on our Patreon, patreon.com/LBHT Show. It's where we talk about things that we don't get to talk about on the show, or just anything in general, like we're going to talk about tonight. Okay, I just saw the new Daredevil trailer. It looks amazing. I want to discuss it. I watched season 2 of Squid Game. Looks amazing. I mean, it was an amazing season. I want to discuss that. Also, for all you TikTok fans, TikTok is looking like it's on its way out of here starting Sunday. It's not completely gone yet. There's a small chance that it doesn't happen, but we're going to discuss all that and some alternatives. Okay, one main alternative that everybody is flocking to right now. We're going to discuss all that on the Overtime Show. So patreon.com// LBHT Show is where you can find it. For as little as $5 a month, you can become a member, get the Overtime Show, and you get access to our Discord. All right. If you want to pay a little bit more, we can get you a nice LBHT crew coin like you see right here. All right. Nice and shiny. All right. Yes. So go over there, check it out. But let's get into this Diontae Johnson talk. Yes, he was cut again and then claimed by us again.
This is complete nonsense. It's absolute nonsense, and I don't even mean from the Ravens. Like, I know the Ravens are. I mean, they're comp pick groupies. Like, this is what they do. But I think it's ridiculous that the NFL allows you to pick somebody up who is not even eligible to play for your team, and then potentially get a comp pick for them when they leave, having not played for your team. It's nonsense.
I agree. Because you can't pick him up. We claimed him, but he's not awarded to us until after the Super Bowl. That's the end of the season, right? But he will count as being on our team going into the offseason. So if he signs somewhere else, yeah, we get a comp pick. You know,
it's nonsense.
And that makes me question their motivation to begin with in picking him up the first time. Right?
No, you don't have to question it. You know that's exactly why they picked him up, because they didn't play him. You traded for him, and you didn't play him because they said, hey, he's a good receiver. He's a talented player. He's not going to cost us anything. Carolina's going to eat that salary. We can stash him on the bench, and if somebody gets hurt, then we'll throw him in there. But he's a free agent. He's only going to be here for half a season, and then we're going to get maybe we'll get a 4th round pick for him. That's what they sit in their office dreaming of. And it didn't work out, but now maybe it will again.
Yeah. Ivy saying says correction. They're comp pick merchants.
I mean, the NFL are comp pick merchants. I think I was correct. They're the groupies.
Yeah, I feel like it's totally unfair to Diontae Johnson. I mean, he pouted with the Ravens. He refused to go in the game December 1st against the Eagles, and that led to him being suspended. And then there was a whole nother week where we weren't sure if he was being released or he was being suspended or what was happening. And then finally he was released. He's picked up by the Texans. He's with them, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? I think he got picked up December 23rd, a couple days before Christmas. And he had 2 catches for 23 yards or something in his tenure there. He got upset after the playoff game in Houston that he wasn't really a part of the game plan, part of the offense. Everybody was celebrating around him. And captains tried to calm him down, but he didn't really want to hear it. And then next thing you know, he's released a couple days after that. And D'Amico Ryans gets on a press conference and says, well, we're not really here to talk about Diontae Johnson, but let's just say it didn't work out. What do you expect from the guy? He's already proven that if he doesn't play, he's going to pout. He's going to be a distraction. He's going to be a problem. So if you had no intention on playing him, Houston, why did you bring him there? And same thing, Baltimore. The guy needs to play to feel like he's part of the team. So if you're not going to play that man and you're not going to pay that man, then why did you pick up that man? And I just feel like it was unfair.
My thing is it's not even just the, hey, if you he's going to be a problem. Like, why he has to play and he has to produce in order to get signed next season. He's a unrestricted free agent. So, why are you coming around and saying we're just going to stash you on the bench and you expect him to be okay with it? But even beyond that, I think Baltimore should have to give him his money back from when they suspended him, because obviously he wasn't so detrimental to your team if you're claiming him again a few weeks later.
I agree.
Yeah.
No, I agree. And, no, you're both right? Like, you knew what his situation was when you signed him. He needs to get paid. He's not just some guy. Like, he's a good wide receiver, right? And Baltimore picking him up, you figure, hey, he's produced more than the guys that are there now. He'll get a fair shot. And you don't play him at all. Like that's the thing that gets me is you don't get him involved at all, right? Like I understand when he first gets there, he needs a week or so to kind of ramp up, but like get him some snaps, get him out there, and if you do that, if he's throwing a fit because he's not getting all the targets, then yes, that's fine. But from what I can see is he's mad that you're not throwing him out there at all, right? Like you're getting Aguilar more reps than him, right? Yeah, I'd be a little upset about that too. When you didn't have to trade for me, like I could have went somewhere else. So that's understandable. You cut him. Gets picked up by Houston. Houston is in need of wide receiver help. They don't have Stephon Diggs. You have what's the other wide receiver that's out?
Tank Dell's out.
Tank Dell's out. They need some help, and he says, "Okay, great. There's opportunity for me to go out there." But it's it's a little bit tougher signing right before the playoffs, right? Yeah. You haven't really had any rapport with the team, and look, man, like you can't freestyle it out there. Like it's the playoffs. Like they're gonna go with what they trust. And he did get in the game a little bit. I think he had like one catch. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't pout like that, you know what I'm saying? But I can see why he wouldn't be happy. And I can see why he looked at that team as, hey man, why'd you bring me here if you're not gonna give me a shot? Like you gotta let me get out there and show what I can do, right? I can help you guys, but he's gotta have he has to find a way to express that in a different way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is 99% on him for acting the way he's acted in Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Carolina, and Houston. But it's still, it's the 1% that I don't understand, because I get why he's acting like that. He shouldn't be, but I understand why he is. He's a free agent. He has to have a big year, or he's not going to get a big contract. Period. And like you said, he's not going to probably be in line for a big contract, no matter what happens after this. At this point. Like the 1% for me is like, as a team, because every NFL team, all 32 of them, every GM, every head coach, every owner, every coordinator, every quality control coach, every video intern will tell you, we don't want distractions. Why have all of you picked up Diontae Johnson then? And then sat him down and said, I can't believe this blew up in our face.
Yeah.
And you know what? When we win the Super Bowl, he better get a ring. I want to see Diontae Johnson with a Ravens Super Bowl ring. He deserves it.
Oh, man. Think about that. And speaking of, right, both of these teams, when we went to play Houston, was it on Christmas? They were showing video of Ravens players going up to them, dapping them up, giving them hugs, when they're warming up on the field. So, like, he wasn't an issue in the locker room, right? It wasn't one of those things where people had a problem with him. Like, he seemed cool with everybody. It was just that issue of not getting more playing time. And yes, he has to take responsibility for that. If the two of them could have worked it out, because, all right, he wasn't happy about it. Not, he didn't want to go in the game in that Philly game. You suspend him or whatever. If cooler heads could have prevailed, we'd be in a much better position right now, because Zay Flowers got hurt. And Diontae Johnson at this point could have been able to step right in and produce for us. Now, obviously, we won, last week without him. I think we're gonna win this week without him. But make it easier on your quarterback. You know what I mean? So, all right. Well, welcome back, Diontae Johnson, and yes,
and see you later.
Yeah, and see you later. And if the Ravens win it all, yes, we will be petitioning for Diontae Johnson to get a ring, because he is part of the team. Okay, yeah. So congratulations. You put that on your resume, you'll be a Super Bowl champion. All right. What we got next?
Mike McCarthy. He was the head coach in Dallas for several years. I think approximately 0 people liked that hire to begin with.
Hell, I must be going.
I think nobody liked that hire to begin with. Nobody thought he was going to be the guy to turn that mess around. And predictably, he has not. He hasn't been fired. I see people saying he's fired. He was not fired. His contract is up. and they just decided not to talk to each other until the deadline went by. I think it is pretty dirty, once again, from Dallas, who declined or prevented him from talking to Chicago when Chicago reached out for permission. You weren't even in talks with McCarthy to sign an extension. You knew you didn't want him back. Why would you not let him go and interview? But whatever. He's available now. He can go interview with whoever he wants to. That's not the issue because nobody cares where Mike McCarthy goes. The story is who Dallas is talking to, and let me tell you, I know you can read it there at the bottom, but it's the dumbest thing. It's the dumbest idea that you possibly have. Jerry Jones saying there's mutual interest between the Dallas Cowboys and Deion Sanders, head coach of the Colorado Buffaloes. And I think they're, if you want the biggest circus you can possibly have in football, go ahead and hire Deion Sanders. I will be tuned in. I'll enjoy it. And as far as entertainment value. But if you're a Cowboys fan or somebody who wants to see the Dallas Cowboys succeed, I cannot imagine why you would be on board with this. Aside from just him being this bigger than the game personality, which in and of itself isn't necessarily a bad thing. But he draws a lot of attention to himself, right? And a lot of people don't like that. A lot of teams don't like that. But whatever, toss that aside. This is a guy who had possibly 2 of the top 5 picks in the NFL draft in one of the worst conferences in college football and couldn't win it. Why are you thinking that he's going to come into the NFL where you don't have any talent advantage and do anything?
Yeah. I mean, we should ask Coach to come on. I want to get Coach's opinion on this.
Coach's opinion on this. Coach loves Coach Prime.
He does, but there's a difference between college and the pros.
Yeah.
I think what he does in college works, and I think even though yes, they didn't have a great season. If you look at the progression of Colorado before he got there to now, right? He's putting two guys in the first round. Heisman Trophy winner, and they made it to a bowl game. There's a lot of success there, and him either staying there or going to Florida State, like I think he should go. I think that's the most obvious thing. I think that works in college football, right? The spectacle works in college football because that's what it draws. That's what draws in recruits, and that's what draws in fans.
Yeah, the rock star head coach. He's the face of the program. He's getting people to come in there because he's the guy who's going to be there forever. Those players are coming in there for 3-4 years.
Yes. Yeah. So I think everything he's doing is tailor-made for college football. And he should not be thinking about coming back to the NFL. He himself has said before how he didn't want to coach in the NFL because, it's a bunch of, we call them, $1 million babies or whatever.
A bunch of Deons.
Yeah. And I know he said that because, that wasn't really an option for him at the time. What else is he going to say? But no, man, like he should stay in college. He can win a lot of games, and be himself and be a spectacle and have a lot of fun. You come to the NFL, you come to the Cowboys, those fans want to win. It'll be a spectacle at first, but if you don't win, they'll give you a year, maybe 2, and it's not going to be fun anymore.
I disagree with the both of you. He should go to the NFL. Man, if you look at the trajectory of Deion, and if you look at his history, this is a guy that takes on every challenge. That he played in the major leagues and in the NFL at the same time. The man literally was hopping off a flight from a Braves game and then going to a Falcons game in the same day. He did it in 24 hours, like 2 or 3 times in his career. This was a guy that a lot of people didn't think was going to be the greatest cornerback of all time, became the greatest corner of all time. A guy who went to Jackson State, a program that was known for nothing, and turned it into something that people were talking about on a daily basis. Went to Colorado where they had 1 win, I believe, the season before he got there. And like you said, Jose, produced a Heisman Trophy winner within 2 seasons, produced 2 top 5 picks. in the same draft, which we're going to see come April. Deion has not won a national championship yet in the collegiate ranks, and he may never win one, especially if he goes pro right now. But if he goes to Dallas and is able to restore them to glory and win a Super Bowl ring, that's much bigger than anything he could do at Colorado, Jackson State, Florida State, any state that you can name. So I think that, yes, it's high risk. College is going to be the safe route for Deion. Staying at Colorado or going to Florida State or going to another school is a safe route. But going to the NFL, and particularly the Cowboys, where all eyes are going to be on you, and turning that franchise around and potentially winning a Super Bowl, there's nothing greater he can do to add to his legacy than that, in my opinion. So I think that if Jerry gives him the job and gives him the ability, which this is a very big if, gives him the ability to try to bring in his own players, his own staff, which is what a guy of Deion's stature typically would ask for and demand, I think that he should go to Dallas. Now, if Jerry's going to be hovering over his back, playing micromanager, playing owner that has to know every football decision, that has to be the one with final say on everything, then I think that he should stay in Colorado or go to Florida State, like you said, Jose.
I gotta ask you, what stature are we talking about? Because again, look, he stole Travis Hunter. That's great. You recruited one guy. The other guy is his son, who he brought with him from Jackson State to Colorado. And like I said, one of probably the worst of the Big Five. Not probably, it is the worst of the major conferences.
I think he recruited a 5-star lineman last year too, right?
No. I mean, I'm not saying he's recruited nobody else. I'm talking about these are the stars of the team. That's how they won games. Shador and Travis Hunter, right? And you couldn't win that conference. You know, you lost 3 games in the conference. Every decent team you played, you lost to. So he doesn't have any stature coming into the NFL to make any kind of demands. I mean, guys who actually win in college don't get to come into the NFL and make demands of hey, I'm hiring my own staff. Hey, you're giving me control of this and that. And this is a guy who hasn't won anything.
Well, look, some college coaches do get that treatment. I mean, Exhibit A, Matt Rule, right? Like
Matt Rule didn't get to do all of that. Like they gave him some, but not everything.
He got to. I mean, he got a puppet for a GM who couldn't tell him no, right? He got a huge long-term deal. He got to pick his staff and everything. Like, yeah, he had a lot of control that wasn't earned, and I always think that's a bad idea given a coach coming from college.
That's something. I don't think he got to pick his entire staff. He got to bring his defensive coordinator. I think Joe Brady was more of a team thing as well as a lot of the rest of the coaches. But I mean, I understand your point. But what I'm saying is that he hasn't done anything.
True.
I mean,
shout out to Press Star 410 for the $5 attention. Put this towards Diontae's Super Bowl ring. Facts. If they're not going to give him one, we'll give him one.
It's also towards Deion's next contract in Dallas. You know, he's about to get $20 million a year, something crazy like that. And Brodny, yes, he hasn't done a whole lot. He hasn't won a national championship, but going from 1 win to what did they win, 8 or 9 games this year?
Yeah,
in 2 seasons.
2 years. Okay,
that's pretty impressive, man. Like
it's impressive. It's impressive to an extent. Like I said, if the reason I wanted him to stay at Colorado, I mean, I don't really care. I'm not a Deion fan, but like, I want to see what he does without his son playing quarterback. Because yes, his son is a great prospect, right? He's going to go in the top 5, top 10 at worst, or wherever he ends up in the draft. I want to see what he can do without the benefit of having his kid running the team, which, you know, other coaches don't have.
He can pay guy. For one, he's high profile, so the networks care about him. Fox cares about him. CBS cares about him. ESPN cares about him. They talk about him. So he's going to be able to recruit a top-notch quarterback either via the transfer portal, or he's going to get a young high school kid that's going to come in there and do something.
Let me ask you this: Do those networks care about Miami, the Hurricanes? Because that's a big-time college football brand.
They care about Deion Sanders.
They did, but they did care about Miami. But that school kind of stripped everything down.
But what I'm saying is, like, yeah, and people in the media care about Miami. Fans care about Miami. It's a very popular school. It's a very popular brand. People love Miami when they're good in college football, right? That didn't allow them to continue recruiting quarterbacks. They haven't recruited a quarterback. I mean, they got Cam Ward in the transfer portal, right? Who was the last quarterback in Miami?
I think the difference now is, like, they were back then because you could pay players, right? Like, let's just be real. And, now you're allowed to pay players openly. Mm-hmm. And I think it's easier for somebody like Deion, who he himself gets endorsement deals. He can get endorsement deals for a lot of his players. I mean, I think I read something about Travis Hunter. He was, just from his deals, he was making sure everybody on the team got paid. So everybody on the team was getting paid off of one or two players, right? And if he goes to some place like FSU, where you can draw the talent because at FSU you're alum, you're Deion, and plus the money will be there as well. I think it's just easier for him to pull that type of talent. But the question is, right, and this is what B's getting to: can he actually coach?
Well, right? Yeah, because the money is going to be there at any school, at any big time school. The money is there, and all these schools. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. They've all been paying players before they were legally allowed to pay players.
Yes,
and a lot of schools have not been able to maintain that recruiting, right? And the question is, again, what has Deion done as a coach to make anybody believe that he should be the next coach of Dallas, that he's going to be successful as the next coach of the Cowboys? When all you've seen him do, because this is all hypothetical what we're talking about. Oh, he can draw in the recruits, say they're going to pay, blah, blah, blah. He hasn't done it.
He's
right? It's all hypothetical.
He's generated millions and millions.
Okay, but he hasn't brought in the talent, right?
But let's assume no, he's brought in some talent.
I'm talking specifically quarterback right now, because again, I'm saying, what is he going to do without Shador as his quarterback? He hasn't brought in any other quarterback, and the rest of the team isn't very good.
But we don't need to belabor that point, right? Let's assume that he can bring in that talent. That's great, and that's great, and that's part of the reason why I say he has a better, he's better suited to stay in college football, right? Because let's assume he can bring in the talent, that will keep you competitive. He may not be a good enough coach to win a national title, but you'll at least be competitive if you're able to consistently bring in the talent. In the NFL, the talent is already there, and everybody has it. Mm-hmm. So you're not recruiting anybody. Like, Deion going to the Cowboys isn't going to draw any more talent than would already go to the Cowboys, right? The Cowboys are bigger than Deion. So if players want to play for the Cowboys, it won't be for a coach. It'll be for the star, right? So you have talent there, and you have to play against other talent. When talent is on equal footing, can you win? Because, in college, talent is 90% of it. You can beat most teams. When you go against the other talented teams, that's when the coaching matters a lot more. But you can win 80% of your games throughout the season, because most of these teams don't play anybody, right, throughout the season. You can win a lot of games just off of talent alone. But when you have to play competitive teams, that's where you have to do your part. I don't know if Deion is there yet. Now, can he get there? Maybe years from now. I think he needs more experience. But going from what, 3 years of coaching, 3 or 4 years of coaching, 4 years going into the NFL, going to the Cowboys, that's a bad look.
Well, I feel like the risk isn't all that great, because we've seen guys do it before. We saw Saban jump to the NFL.
He was terrible.
He was not good in Miami. I can agree with that point. But he went back to Alabama and went on to win 6 more.
Oh no! I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about the team, the people that have all the risk. No, there's no risk for Deion.
No, there's no risk for Deion.
No.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Deion on a personal level, like, it's a great reward, but it's low risk, because he's going to get paid buku money regardless of what he does. But Jerry Jones has more money than anybody, any athletic director can pay him, any program can pay him. So if he goes to the NFL level, the amount of money he's going to get is going to be ridiculous. His endorsements are going to increase. He's already got Affleck. He's already on TV every 20 minutes at this point in time. He'll be on TV more. if he goes to the Cowboys. He'll be talked about even more if he goes there. If he wins, then you start putting him in this all-time great conversation because he's the greatest cornerback of all time. So if he wins a Super Bowl, people are gonna give him an extra boost that they wouldn't give a typical coach because he has the pedigree of being one of the all-time great players in the league and one of the great personalities that we've ever seen in sports entertainment in general. And we know that football is entertainment. It's all about clicks. It's all about eyeballs. It's all about being able to monetize the product that you have. The Cowboys, I've heard this said before, a lot of their games, you got 30-40% of the fan base being from other teams coming into AT&T Stadium. They're not even filling the stadium up mainly with their own fans because they're not that interested of a team. They're not good. Every time they get to the playoffs, they typically get bounced in the first round, and they're not interesting like that. Other than Jerry Jones, who cares about Dak Prescott? Who cares about anybody on that team other than Michael Parsons? Really, CeeDee Lamb is just kind of there. He's a good player, but he doesn't have a personality. Deion Sanders is a force. He's energy, and he's going to bring that attention to the Cowboys. And they already get it without having somebody like him other than Jerry Jones. So my whole point being, Deion has a very small risk if he decides to go to Dallas. And if he goes there and he flops and he falls on his face, he can go back to college. He can go to Florida State. He can go to Miami. He can go to some other school and still win.
But that's true of every college coach. There's no risk going to the NFL for college coaches.
Yeah, Matt Rule made out very well, right? Mm-hmm. But okay, what you're saying is true. Like there's low risk for Deion, right? This is more for the organization. There's a big risk for the organization. But let me just ask you, if Deion gets the job, do you think the team will be successful?
And hold your thoughts right now, Adriana. We do have a super chat. Thank you very much, DeMarcus. He says, appreciate y'all for the content. Definitely helps me get through the workday. Me personally, I don't think the Ravens game will be close, even with Zay out. Got to agree with you on that one, DeMarcus. I think, and I hate to say it because I don't want to sound like, I'm hating on Buffalo and all this stuff. I think Buffalo's a good team, but they're just not equipped this year to beat Baltimore.
I just think I think DeMarcus is DeMarcus or DeMarcus? DeMarcus. I just think that Matt Milano's comments make me believe that they know that they're going to be a problem because you watch what they did to the Steelers. They're like, we don't want that happening to us. How can we stop that from happening? Let's try to talk them into throwing the ball. Nah, we're going to run this. And then when you stop it, then we'll see. Right? You're gonna make us beat you with Lamar's arm? Do it. Right? Everybody has intentions of what they're going to do. Let's see who's going to accomplish their goal. Right? Yeah, I have a feeling they're going to get bullied.
That's like going against the Warriors and saying, Steph Curry, yeah, we know you can shoot the three, but can you get to the basket and dunk on somebody? Like, like that's what we want to see you do. Let me see you get in the paint, Steph. Because you want to talk a team out of their best weapon and their best ability to hurt you, which is obviously the running game. But back to your point, Jose, do I think Deion turns the team around? Let me make this one caveat. How much time does he get? Does he get 2 years? Does he get 3 years? How much time?
I think it depends on the records, right? Like he goes in his first year and wins 2 games. He has, the clock speeds up, right?
I think when it also has to depend on the talent that's already there, right? The hardest thing, yes. the hardest thing in turning around a team is getting the quarterback. You already have the quarterback. You already have an elite wide receiver in CeeDee Lamb. You've already got an elite edge rusher in Micah Parsons. It shouldn't be that much work to turn them around.
Well, does he have the quarterback in Dakota Rain Prescott?
Dakota Rain is a very good quarterback.
Yes.
Okay. I think that he has him in the playoffs right away. They got a healthy Dak Prescott, and they need a running back first and foremost. Like, they need to go out and get somebody. Rico Dotto, I don't think he's the answer right there. And obviously, Zeke is no longer going to be there, or he's no longer part of their future. He's over the hill.
He's gone already.
Okay. Yeah, let's just assume they had talent. Let's say they draft Ashton Genty, right?
Oh man,
they had the running back. They got CeeDee Lamb. They got the quarterback. They had their team, which underperformed. They're a playoff caliber team, right? We know that. Do you think he's a good enough coach to have some real success, not first round and out, like really like be a Super Bowl contender?
No, I think they need a couple seasons to be a Super Bowl contender. I think that division round would be the target at this point in time. We talk
But do you
about
think you think he could get them there?
I think he could get them to the division round if he gets a decent running game to go with Dak and CD, and hopefully Ferguson has a better year.
But I don't think you can target the division round for a team that won 12 games last year.
What did they win this year?
They didn't win 12 games, obviously, but Dak Prescott was hurt, and you know it was a bad season for him.
And their coach got fired.
They went 7-10, right?
They're not.
And like as I said, they're looking for a new head coach.
Yeah, they're not bare of talent there. They have a lot of talent.
Yeah, but again, they won 12 games the year before. I didn't look at their overall record because Dak missed like 5 games the year prior, but he was 8-4 as a starter. The year before that, he won 11 games. Like, this is not a bad team that we're talking about here. This is not a team that's starting from the bottom.
So you think championship game at the least
I think
is a successful season for them?
I think you have to be targeting at least the conference championship with the talent that they have in Dallas. Absolutely. And I think you give him 3 years. And if it's not at that level and trending better, then you do what you got to do. But we can't be talking about first, second round in the playoffs for a team with that much talent.
Well, I disagree with you guys. I think Dak isn't the guy. I don't think you can get it done with Dak. I think his ceiling is probably conference championship game. I don't see him winning a Super Bowl in his career. I could be wrong.
But that's what we're talking about.
I mean, Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl.
Joe did win a Super Bowl, but Joe was clutching in the playoffs, and Trent Dilfer had maybe the greatest defense of all time.
Okay, Brad Johnson won the Super Bowl. Nick Foles won the Super Bowl. Like, it's not, he's talented than all those guys. He's more talented.
Yes, he's more talented. Yeah, he's a franchise quarterback. You have the talent there, right? It's not a team that's rebuilding, right? If you're looking to say, hey, give Deion some time to build a team up, that's if he goes to coach the Raiders. That's not the position that the Cowboys are in. They're built to win sooner rather than later. Do they need a better running back? Sure, you can go and get one of those. That's not hard to do. You can go and get a running back. Do they need maybe a couple things here and there? You can clean that up in free agency and draft. But they are primed, no pun intended, to win soon. So you don't get 3 years to make it to the NFC Championship game. That's exactly why Mike McCarthy's gone now.
It just reminds me of the Jimmy Johnson hire that Jerry made 30 years ago, or 35 years ago at this point in time. Jimmy was a personality. He was somebody that was going to speak his mind. And he came in there and he did help turn the Cowboys around. Yeah, they picked up Troy Aikman. They already had Michael Irvin. Later on, they got Emmett. They put the triplets together. They had a really good defense. Charles Haley, Leon Letton, those guys. And they ended up winning 3 championships in 5 seasons, and they really could have won 4 out of 5, in my opinion. So,
what did Jimmy Johnson have that Deion doesn't have, though?
Well,
college.
Jimmy Johnson had a national championship at Miami, but he did not build that team.
I'm sorry to interrupt you there, Adrian. We got another super chat from DeMarcus. Thank you very much. He says, I stay in Dallas even though I'm a Ravens fan. Dak is like the DeMar DeRozan of the NFL. He can't do it. That's messed up. DeMar can do it. Why you got to be taking shots at DeMar? Goodness.
I'm trying to tell you, Dak can't do it.
But even DeMar DeRozan got to a conference finals game.
We say can't until they do it, right? Peyton Manning couldn't do it either, and he got to.
Right. I mean, Dak could prove me wrong.
And Dak's numbers in the playoffs are better than Peyton's.
He just always seems to throw that timely interception. I think the last time.
You know who else couldn't do it? Matt Stafford.
But this is but again though, but that's the thing though, right? That's the thing you got to factor in though, Adrian, when you're talking about the NFL versus college. Deion can't come in and just get rid of Dak. You have contracts, right? So it's not coming in. He's not coming in here and just saying, okay, we're going to get rid of everybody. I'm going to bring in all my guys, which is a mistake that a lot of college coaches make coming into the pros. I want to bring the guys that I know, right?
Well, which is the guys also that how we turned around Colorado.
Yeah, the guys that can't play in that level, right?
Because he didn't really turn around Colorado so much as he brought Jackson State to Colorado.
Yeah, but there are players on a team like Dak. Dak just did his contract, so it's not as easy just to move him out and bring somebody else in. That's the other thing. Who are you going to bring in? You can't just recruit somebody. You got to have the money. There's a salary cap. Even though as much as we say the cap ain't real, how much money do you want to tie up, in dead money and things like that to get rid of a guy that you just signed that has a lot of guaranteed money, and there has to be somebody available that's better. Who's better than Dak that's available? Like those are things that you have to figure out. You have to just roll what you have, and what you have is a good quality quarterback, right? So, 3 years, whether it's 2 or 3 years from now, his quarterback's still going to be Dak. Like that's his quarterback. That's the position. Can he win with what he has there?
I don't know if he can win with Dak. Now, if he's able to find a way to get Shador on the team, then maybe they get it done, because he said he was only going to the league if he could coach Shador.
Shador couldn't win the Big 12.
Well, I would never let Deion coach Shador in the pros. No. If I'm an owner. There's no, if I hire you, your son is never coming here. Your son might be great, but there's no way, because if he's not great, you won't take him out the game. You'll throw everybody under the bus before you take him out. No way will I let you coach your son, especially not being proven. You know what I'm saying? If Belichick, even Belichick, I don't want him bringing his own people in, right? But if you have multiple Super Bowl rings, then all right, maybe I lay off. You kind of know what you're doing a little bit. I see the, I see the nepotism going on here. But
so Jerry's son could be vice president of the Cowboys with no talent and never having had to do anything hard in his life.
Yeah.
But Shador, who's proven himself to be a top 5 pick, regardless of his father.
Yeah.
He can't play with his father.
Has he proven himself to be a top 5 pick though?
I mean,
because
a lot of play football.
I'm saying
right?
a lot of people think that this quarterback class just sucks, and they're going to go that high, by default.
Well, look, I don't have any control over it, right? If he decides, hey, you can coach your son there, great for him. I'm saying if I were the owner, if I'm the owner, yes, I can hire whoever I want. I own the damn team. I want my son, my nephews, my nieces. I want everybody here in the organization, all my friends. We're going to run the organization. On the field, where it matters, ain't no way I'm letting you coach your son, man. No way.
That's Shador or Shiloh.
It's because you're not proven as a head coach, right? You yourself aren't proven as a head coach. I don't know what you're going to do. You come in here, and then we have to find a trade partner, trade Dak, probably eat some money on that. Then we have to draft Shador, right? And then hope that two rookies, rookie head coach, rookie quarterback, can help us make a run in the playoffs.
Well, and that's if you haven't already destroyed the locker room by moving Dak out.
Yeah.
I think that the NFL will allow it because it's nothing they love more than a storyline. And that would put butts in seats and put eyeballs in front of television screens.
So, but again, what are you trying to win media cycles, or are you trying to win games?
Jerry Jones, we don't know at this point if he wants to win the media cycle or he really wants to win games.
This isn't college. The Cowboys make money. The Cowboys they don't need Deion to make money, right? They don't need Deion to do a whole win the media award. They're just fine with that. Jerry makes money off of that. They need to win, right? And I'm not wasting time with a unproven college coach to try to win in the NFL.
So the best that they can do, like right now, in terms of moving on from Dak, is a $42 million cap hit. Dak's not going anywhere.
So
that's a post June 1st trade. If they do it before June 1st, it's over $100 million in dead cap money.
So if Deion isn't the guy, who would you bring in to be the next coach of the Cowboys?
Ben Johnson's a better candidate. You got, look, I'm still a fan of Byron Leftwich. He just interviewed with the Patriots. He has a lot of NFL experience. Eric Bieniemy. I'm gonna say the same people that I've been saying for the last couple of years, right? Like, are they gonna get the job realistically? No, they're kind of blackballing Eric Bieniemy, but Eric Bieniemy, I think, is somebody that you should seriously look at. Look, man, there's a lot of guys with pro experience.
How about Aaron Glenn?
Aaron Glenn is another one. Absolutely. So there's a lot of
Brian Flores. I'll take Robert Saleh. I think he did a great job with no quarterback in New York.
I agree.
Saleh not going to be part of the coaching.
Mike LaFleur.
LaFleur?
Yeah. Mike LaFleur.
Not Matt, Mike. Okay.
Matt ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, Matt got himself a job.
Bobby Slowick, Joe Brady.
Bobby Slowick and Joe Brady here.
Sorry. All right. Okay. Yeah, Bobby Slowick, Joe Brady. You're absolutely right. There's a ton of options. If you want to go the college route, the Notre Dame coach.
Screw that guy.
He had
Marcus Freeman.
Is that his name? Yeah. He's a lot more proven than Deion.
Screw that guy.
You just don't like Notre Dame.
I don't like Notre Dame. That's not a secret.
All right. Okay. All right. Because we almost at the hour and a half mark. Let's move this along. Man, great discussion on this, man. Okay. Let's do we have any submitted questions?
Mm-mm.
No submitted questions. Let's do the picks and let's head over to the overtime show. Osman says, don't care about Cowboys. Let them stay in football purgatory.
Okay, that's true. That's the other option. All right. We got the NFL divisional round coming up. What some people say is the best weekend in sports. Because you got it's not the wild card weekend where you're seeing nothing but blowouts. But it's not the Super Bowl where it's just the one game and then the season's over, right? You got multiple games and what should be pretty competitive games, right? So first up, we've got the Texans and the Chiefs. That's Saturday at 4:30. Now we talked about this. The Chiefs have not been a dominant team, which is strange to say about somebody who was a team that was 15-1 before they just sat all their players in the last week, right? But they haven't been dominant. They've been winning a lot of close games. But the thing with the Chiefs is they're a disciplined team and they don't beat themselves, right? And so you're running into Pat Mahomes. They've got Pacheco back. Travis Kelce's still there. They got Hollywood Brown back. Xavier Worthy is kind of rounding into form a little bit like Rashee Rice did towards the end of last season. They got DeAndre Hopkins there, who's not an elite receiver at this point, but is still a good, solid contributor. And then you've got the young team that was took the league by storm last season with the rookie head coach, rookie quarterback, rookie edge rusher, the Houston Texans, who have stumbled quite a bit this year. They've struggled a lot offensively. Their O-line hasn't been great. They lost Stephon Diggs to injury, who they brought in. That was their big offseason acquisition. And then they lost Tank Dell to a horrific injury as well. But, they do still have CJ. They do still have Joe Mixon. They've got Nico Collins. And they have a just tough as nails defense that's kind of kept them around and helped them, win that division and get to this point. Houston is going into Kansas City, obviously, and I think they're going to be going back to Houston empty-handed. What do y'all think?
I agree. I don't. I think the Texans can make it competitive like they did the first time they played them, right? Especially since the Chiefs have had 2 weeks off. Maybe they catch them with a little rust early on in the first half, but the Chiefs, man, I think they. This is what they've been waiting for. They're going to turn it up in the playoffs, and I don't think it's going to be particularly close in the second half. But Houston they'll compete because they have the defense too, and they have a good head coach, but they're not there yet.
Yeah, they're just not experienced enough at this point, and they're not healthy enough. If you do have a healthy Stephon Diggs, you do have a healthy Tank Dell, then maybe you have a shot. But we talk about Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce. These guys have been there before. This game is nothing new to them. And I think that they've been waiting to play their best football for January, for February, because that's what they do. They're never going to be judged on their regular season anymore. Last year, they had a terrible regular season for them, and he went on to hoist their third Lombardi trophy in 5 seasons, I believe it was, in second straight. They're going for their third straight Super Bowl. I don't see them losing unless they lose to the Ravens in the AFC Championship game.
All right. Next up on Saturday, 8 p.m., we got the Washington Commanders going up against the Detroit Lions. Washington, they took out Baker. They took out Baker and the Bucks. It was an unfortunate loss for the one-time Panther hero, but he'll bounce back. I mean, or he won't. I don't know, whatever. But Jaden Daniels, he's looking to continue his magical rookie run. He's got Terry McLaurin out there, just pumped out of his mind for having a quarterback for the first time in his career. Austin Eckler kind of found a little bit of the fountain of youth since Brian Robinson don't want to play. And then you look on the other side of the field, and it's, just probably the most stacked offense since, the greatest show on turf with the Rams, honestly. You're talking about Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams. They just got Khalif Raymond back. I forget the other receiver that they have. Slipping my mind now. But, they have –
yeah, a bunch.
They've got a ton of talent on that offense. And then you have the hottest offensive coordinator in the league for the last couple of years in Ben Johnson running the show. You've got a very, very aggressive head coach in Dan Campbell who is not going to let you off the hook by getting field goals. He's going for 7 every time, right? And then you look on the defensive side of the ball, and it's a bloodbath. Like, they've got nothing left over there. I forget how many guys they have on IR just in their front 7. It was something crazy, like 10, 11 guys just from that group. So they're really, really hurting over there. And I mentioned it earlier in the show. I think Washington is going to go into Detroit and get the upset due to injury.
I don't see it. I don't see it. They still have a lot of firepower, Detroit. And if it has to go to a shootout, then it'll be a shootout, and I think Detroit will come out on top.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels has not looked like a rookie the entire season.
He hasn't.
One of the greatest rookie seasons we've seen from a quarterback. I harken back to RG3 or Big Ben Roethlisberger, and those guys haven't been as impressive as he's been, in my opinion. I think that Jaden gives you a chance in every football game because he's going to put up points. And if it's close at the end, he's proven time and time again that he's clutch. I think he has like 6 game-winning drives this year. You don't typically see that from a rookie. And he's not a traditional rookie because he played pretty much 4 years as a starter. And he's a Heisman Trophy winner. And he's played with big-time talent before he even got to the NFL. His 3 leading receivers at LSU are all pretty much future number 1 receivers in the league, if not current number 1 receivers. But he has Brian Thomas Jr. was one of his receivers at LSU. Who else did he have? He had a couple guys that's really like that at receiver. Some of them slipping my mind right now. But anyway, I don't think the Commanders are going to be able to win this game. I think that they're going to be able to hang close. But Detroit has too much firepower. They're on a mission. They lost in the NFC Championship game last year. I think that they believe this is their year to win a Super Bowl. They have all the talent. Yeah, they're missing a lot of guys on defense, most notably Hutchinson, who's maybe the best pass rusher in the league. But they have Amon-Ra St. Brown, like you said, B. They have Jahmyr Gibbs, who had a great season. Jared Goff has been tremendous all year. Sam Laporta has been great. I think that they're going to put up 35-plus points on the Commanders and win a close game at the end.
All right. Moving on to Sunday, the 3 o'clock game. We have the LA Rams, after knocking off Minnesota in embarrassing fashion, heading into Philadelphia to take on the 14-3 Eagles, who we know are led by the Saquon Barkley, probably the best running back in the league right now, who, thanks to his bonehead coach, is not the all-time leading rusher for a season, but in our hearts he is. Now, that team has a good bit of talent as well. They have a great GM over there, and you're looking at Saquon. You got Dallas Goedert. You got AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, a very good O-line, and then I guess 3/4 of Georgia's defense. on the other side of the ball. And just a lot of really, really talented players. And then you've got Jalen Hurts, who sometimes he'll just kind of flop down and let the rest of the guys carry him into the end zone. But that's going up against, again, very, very, very talented roster. Going up against the LA Rams, who you're looking at Matt Stafford, Kyron Williams, who's kind of brought that running game back to life the last couple of years. And then you've got the unstoppable, apparently, duo of Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. And it's only ever one of them gets going at a time. They're both not what you would call athletic or explosive, I guess. But they are just they're kind of unstoppable. If they get going, right? But he can only throw it to one at a time. It's the weirdest thing. But if one of them gets hurt, the other one steps up immediately, and they don't lose a step at all. And like I said, I don't believe Jalen Hurts is going to go out there and outduel anybody. Least of all, a guy who actually went to and won a Super Bowl in Matt Stafford. I think that the Rams go on the road and get the upset win.
Yeah, I don't think. First of all, y'all know I don't think Jalen Hurts is a fraud.
Young fraudulent.
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to be a shootout. I think Philly's defense is going to kind of hold the Rams in check. Yeah, they have a lot of talent there. Matt Stafford ain't who he used to be, right?
No, because he's a winner now. He used to be a loser.
Yeah, that's a fact. I think it'll be competitive, but that defense will do enough to keep the game, within reason. And Philly has all the offense in the world, man. I think they come out on top at home.
Yeah, I got Philly winning the game. They're at Lincoln Financial Field. They're a great home team. And in the playoffs, we see that strong defenses and good rushing attacks are always something that's going to be successful if you stick to the game plan. Saquon Barkley has been the best running back in the NFL all season, unless you have our boy Derrick Henry as number one. But bottom line, Philly's just too physical of a team. That finesse stuff that the Rams want to run ain't going to work. And unless they're going to stick with Kyron Williams and pound the rush and then play off of that, they're not going to have a chance to be able to win in Philly, in my opinion.
All right, and that brings us to the game of the week, maybe even the game of the season up to this point, with all the back and forth over the last month and a half about who is the legitimate MVP and who we should just give it to because it's his turn. We've got the Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Baltimore going to Buffalo. We talked a lot about this earlier in the show, but you've got the clear MVP in Lamar Jackson, 4,100 yards passing, 41 touchdowns to 4 interceptions, and add on to that another 900 yards rushing. And then you got Derrick Henry with 1,900 yards rushing and 16 touchdowns. Justice Hill, who's having a career year in I would say just about everything. He learned how to block as well.
Yeah.
Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely. Zay, looks like he's going to be out, but Rashad Bateman also having a career year. The defense has turned things around over the last half of the season, and just don't think that. I think it's an NBA thing at this point with them, right? They're going to be just doing the too small to that Buffalo's defense all night long with Derrick Henry. I don't think enough has changed for Buffalo to flip that 35-10. Outcome that we had in week 4. Honestly, I think Baltimore kind of runs away with it. I'm going to say they go into Buffalo and they win this one 31-17.
Wow.
Yeah, a little bit closer.
Yeah, I think it'll be a little bit closer too. That's a good score. That it won't be quite as bad as the Steelers one. Just we're playing on the road. They're gonna play with a lot of energy early on, but they're gonna use up a lot of that energy early on as well. And that second half, I think we really go to work on them and open this up. I like that score. I'm gonna keep it the same, 31-17.
Yeah, I agree with you guys, and I have a similar score. I think that Buffalo has had a great season. Josh Allen, any other year, would be worthy of the MVP, except this year. He's been the second best quarterback in the league and probably the third best player behind Saquon Barkley. But anyway, Buffalo is going to do all they can to slow down the running game early. They're going to commit extra resources there. They need to because they're light, they're small, and they're going to have to defend our receivers one-on-one, particularly Andrews and Likely are two guys that look out for. I believe they both can get loose because they're going to have one-on-one matchups and mismatches against safeties as well as linebackers or even corners that may be too small to cover them. I think that it's going to be a close game early on because, like you said, Jose, they're going to come out with a lot of energy. They're going to want to prove that they can be physical and hang with Baltimore in that style of game. But they're going to wear down in the third and fourth quarter because once you start tackling Derrick Henry for the 22nd time and the 24th time and the 28th time, eventually bodies are going to fall like flies. And that's exactly what's going to happen to Buffalo. I see the Ravens winning 33-14. It's going to be close at the half. I think we're only going to be up, 17-10 or 17-7, something like that in that range. But we're going to pull away in the second half because we're the more physical team and we're on a mission to hoist the Lombardi this year.
You got super chat, B.
Let me go ahead and pull that up.
I got it.
Okay, thank you.
Jacob Ryan S, thank you for the $2. Says, I'll pick the team that didn't lose to the Raiders. Okay,
do you want to pick the team that lost to the Ravens though? It's weird.
Or the Texans?
It's weird logic there.
Red Sand said, y'all about to find out. Hey, we'll see.
Red Sand. You know what's funny here? Red Sand also said Josh Allen in the playoffs at home, only 17.
Yeah, Bills had 10 starters out, and Josh just broke his left hand. Yeah. I see the other one. Josh Allen in the playoffs at home, only 17.
But he's been at the playoffs and at home in the second round twice and scored 17 or less. Why are you saying that like that's an impossibility?
The injury thing. Every team gets hurt, man. Like we had players out as well. Like those 10 players. Who were the 10 players? Were the 10 starters that were out? Right? Like I don't think they were 10 starters. And was James Cook hurt? Was your O-line hurt?
No.
Right? Like
Josh Allen out? No. And not only that, they were 3-0, and people were talking about them being the best team in the NFL at the time. The Ravens started 0-2 the same season, and people were panicking and saying that we might not even make the playoffs.
But guys, he hurt his non-throwing hand.
Yeah. Bressan, did you think that they were going to score less than 17 points the first time they played us? Right. With all that being said, starters out and broken non-throwing hand. Did you think they were only going to go in there and score? What was the final score?
10 points,
35-10.
Okay. No, you didn't think that. You thought you were going to win the game because the Bills looked really good.
No, right? Listen, like you put it in there. I mean, I would like to hear your response about the last two times that he played at home in the divisional round and scored 17 and 10. If you're saying it's impossible, like it's a joke that they're only going to score 17.
Yeah. Any team that lost to the Raiders can't be taken seriously. Well, y'all didn't take us serious. What happened?
Wait a minute. Didn't the Chiefs lose to the Raiders last year and win the Super Bowl? What are you talking about, bro?
We ain't got to go that far. Jacob Bryan, what happened when y'all played us, though? If we're going to talk about what happened in the regular season, what happened? He said it's not impossible. What's not impossible? Like I just want to know, like, did you think you were gonna score just 10 points the last time you saw us? All right. And B read the stats to you the last two divisional round games. So I mean, 17 points for them. I mean, look, you're a Bills fan, man. You're supposed to feel good about your team. I get it. You're supposed to pick your team. Me and Adrian are Ravens fans. B is a Panthers fan. He's giving you a more nonpartisan viewpoint, right? But look, the way the Ravens are playing, I just don't think y'all beating us.
Yeah, and
it's a different team. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The Ravens are different too, though. Like that's the thing. He says this is a different team. If we're going to bring up previous games, let's talk about Lamar choking, throwing picks in the end zone. You're talking about 2 years ago or 3 years ago, whenever that was.
He might be talking about the AFC Championship game against KC last year, but I
No,
thought he
he's
was talking
talking.
about
He's
this.
talking
He's
about
talking
when,
about the pick six against Buffalo. I'm sure.
yeah.
Oh, that was 2020, bruh.
But yes, I don't. I guess
but
the difference between the two teams is that Baltimore has the most talent on offense that they've ever had, and Buffalo has the least that they've had with Josh Allen. So I don't know why saying this is a different team is supposed to be a positive for you.
Now, okay, that's yes, you guys are different. Every team grows throughout the season. When y'all played us, we were the worst passing team in the league at that moment.
Passing defense.
Yeah, passing defense. I'm sorry, not passing team. Worst passing defense at that moment when y'all played us and only put up 10 points. We had the worst passing defense in the league. We're not that anymore. All right. And we're just a lot more efficient. Just, like we're getting Derrick Henry the ball a lot more. Like yes, both teams are different, and we're gonna see what y'all can do against us. I just don't feel like you can do a whole lot. And of course, we're gonna feel confident about it. Look, you guys beat down the Broncos. Cool, congrats. Everybody knows the Broncos defense, which is good, a good defense, but they're a smaller defense, right? The Steelers defense is like that though. Like I don't think y'all have any TJ Watt on that team. Would you agree? I don't think you guys have a Cam Hayward on that team. Would you not agree? Right? Like Minka Fitzpatrick, like those guys got beat up.
He don't even have a Patrick Queen on that team.
Y'all might win, but it ain't going to be 31-17. You lost 35-10, bro.
Wait, time out. Red Sand. Red Sand. You're not supposed to do that. You're not. No, Red Sand. You're not supposed to do that. You're a Bills fan. You say y'all ain't beating us. It's going to be 31-17 the other way. Okay? Come on. Get pumped for your team. All right? Don't let us talk you out of it. All right? Believe in your team. You're at home.
They don't believe that they're going to win because let them tell it. Josh Allen has no help. He only has one other Pro Bowler on the entire roster. We have 9. He's the only All-Pro. He's second-team All-Pro. We have 4 first-team All-Pro guys. If you look at the teams and the rosters, we're better. You guys have admitted it in the Lamar debate, but when it comes down to this game, you guys won't admit it. It's kind of crazy how that works.
But that's what it comes down to, right? Because when you're making the argument for Josh Allen's MVP, you guys don't have any talent. When it comes to Ravens versus Bills, and we're saying the Ravens are going to run through y'all, all of a sudden you got all this talent, right? Like, our 10 starters are out. Well, what does it matter if they weren't good, right? You didn't okay, you had 10 guys that were out, but so what if they're back now? You don't have any talent, apparently. We have all these Pro Bowls on the team, apparently. Like, we got so much talent around Lamar Jackson. How can you possibly win?
Sounds like you're making a case for MVP. LOL. We would be if you didn't get your ass kicked by Houston.
We'll gladly trade the MVP award for the Super Bowl MVP. So if that's what makes you guys sleep at night, you guys can have that. I hope Josh wins that. I'm saying this tongue-in-cheek, and I'm saying this without any hint of sarcasm. Lamar has 2 MVPs. He doesn't need any more. We're looking forward to that Lombardi trophy. So if we get that and y'all get the MVP, have at it.
No. Hold on, Reza. Which hypocrisy are you talking about? Because I imagine what you're saying is that the team that lost to the Raiders. Every team loses games, bro. Where are you going at with this?
Well,
did y'all go undefeated?
Yeah. We lost to the Raiders, but y'all lost to us. So what does that say about you? Right. You got blown out.
You also lost to the Texans.
What you're talking about, man?
You lost to the Texans the next week,
and we beat them 31-2. So what are you saying?
Yeah.
What's hypocritical, Red Sam?
Nothing's hypocritical. Nothing's hypocritical, right? Like you don't like that. I pointed out that your defense isn't as good as the Steelers. Where's the lie? Right? I didn't say you didn't have talent. In fact, earlier on in the stream, I said you guys do have talent on the defense, and none of what I said about their defense makes the case for Josh Allen for MVP. Okay, Josh Allen doesn't play defense; he plays offense. You have talent on the offense, right? It's just I don't know. I don't think they're going to perform particularly well against us. This team is on a mission. Could I be wrong? Yeah. I mean, that's why you play the games. But our opinion right now is I think the Ravens, yes, 31-17. I think that's what's going to be.
Yes, Redson. I said you lost to the Texans because you keep talking about, oh, you lost to the Raiders. Everyone loses games, bro. Everyone. There is not an undefeated team in the league. So saying, oh, you lost to this team that you shouldn't have lost to in the second week, it doesn't mean anything, especially when you played head-to-head and got your ass kicked.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you don't need to bring up the other losses if we're talking about regular season wins and losses. You played us head-to-head. You got beat, right? You got crushed. So are you a different team now? Cool. We're a different team now. Let's see who wins on Sunday.
Bro, you don't use losses as an example. How are you not understanding this?
Yeah.
What is it you don't get?
No, what happened was Jacob Ryan brought that up, and we were responding to Jacob Ryan. So maybe he didn't hear that part. So do you get it? No, we get it. Do you get it? Right? Like maybe you didn't hear your other Bills fan didn't hear that I was talking trash. We were responding to that. So talk to him about not bringing up the regular season. That's where that's where it came from.
Bills,
what's up, Kim? Kim is a Chiefs fan.
The Bills are scoring more than 17. That's delusional to think otherwise. Damn. Why is it delusional when they scored 10 when they played the Baltimore Ravens last time? When they beat Baltimore in the playoffs, they only scored 17. When they had another home game against Cincinnati, they only scored 10. Why is it delusional to think in the playoffs a team's not going to put up a ton of points?
And it's 9 degrees, and we're the number one rushing defense in the NFL. The only way they can score is us turning the ball over or somehow hitting big passing plays, which they couldn't do against the 32nd ranked defense in week 4.
I love how this argument. I love how this argument turned from y'all ain't beating us to y'all might beat us, but you ain't going. But we're gonna score more than 17.
That's how you know they already. This game is over. This game's over. They're already conceding defeat. It's just how much they're gonna lose by now.
You don't believe this, Red said. You don't believe what you said. You just said a minute ago that you might lose. You don't believe that.
Yeah, tell them to come to the stream right after the game and keep the same energy you have right now.
All right. We're almost at 2 hours, and this is hashtag no 2 hours. Appreciate you coming through, Red Sand and Jacob Ryan and Kim Taylor, all fans of other teams, right? Appreciate y'all coming through here and chopping it up with us. Look, we don't have to play the games. We're just fans, okay? They have to go out there and play, so we got to go out there and watch and see how they perform. We'll root for our teams, and may the best team win, okay? Outside of playing us, I like the Bills, I like Josh Allen, I like the whole vibe over there, but y'all gonna lose Sunday. Okay, I'm going down Sunday.
Yeah, I think what's gonna happen. Ravens they're gonna get the ball first. They're gonna hand the ball to Derrick Henry. He's going to break through the line, and Red Sand's going to turn off his TV, and we won't see He's not even going to watch the end of the first play.
Our team is locked in, man. Look, you guys over there in Buffalo, like you're more tuned into what your team is doing, and the behind the scenes stuff, and the press conferences and everything. But I can tell you over here, man, like Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, they are locked all the way in. And if you didn't catch that from the Steelers game, I don't know what to tell you. Derrick Henry told the team the other day, look, y'all trying to win a Super Bowl, y'all trying to go home. Straight up. He's like, I ain't got to say nothing else.
And unlike Roquan, he backs up his speeches.
Yeah, and
you mean all-pro Roquan?
Sure.
And you can point to the Ravens struggles in the postseason. You can't point to Derrick Henry struggles in the postseason. He beasts every year he gets in this situation. I saw when they went up on Kansas City when he was in Tennessee. I think they were up like 21-7 in the first quarter, and then Ryan Tannehill and lost the game. But you got to stop that man for 4 quarters, and you got to stop Lamar for 4 quarters. It's going to be a tough task for Buffalo, I think.
Yeah. All right, y'all. We got to get out of here because we're almost at 2 hours. If you want to hang out with us some more, patreon.com/LBHT Show. We're going to be talking some Daredevil. We'll talk a little bit of Squid Game. We're going to talk Drake. We're gonna talk TikTok, the death of TikTok, maybe, and another alternative that people are already flocking to, like in masses. All right. So there's a lot to discuss. Patreon.com/LBHT Show is how you can be a part of the discussion. Adrian, let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, hit me up on all social media at the Sunglass Kid, except TikTok. I was on that, but TikTok RIP. Hopefully we find that new alternative very, very soon, because TikTok was a vibe. And Ravens are going to take this win on Sunday. We're going into Orchard Park and we're going to destroy Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. And yeah, I don't have to play the game so I can talk big like this. I'm not Matt Milano. I'm not Lamar Jackson, but we got this. Ravens flock, y'all know what's up. Lunch break, hot take. Cheer.
All right. Look, and you can find us everywhere at LBHT Show. And don't throw away your TikTok account yet. It's not over yet. We're going to talk about that in a minute here. All right. Kim says Josh Allen's just as hungry as Lamar. Okay.
But Josh ain't got no help.
he got to carry the whole team and the entire city of Buffalo and the entire upstate New York on his back. He's lying.
Yeah. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. All right, y'all. We are out of here. B, are you ready?
Yeah.
B is ready. Thank y'all for hanging out with us. Appreciate y'all support. Appreciate the donations. And we will be back here on Sunday. Y'all have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your week. Peace.